called to serve, but it isn't always so easy. How do we live out our Catholic beliefs each and every day?
I know that God has a purpose. There's a reason I'm here.
Tonight on Currents News, people building a better world, supporting the mission of the church, and walking New York City streets in Jesus' footsteps.
Hey, honey bunch, we're here with your food.
From respecting life.
She's gonna be someone in the world, and I'm happy I gave her that chance.
To providing for migrants.
The number of asylum seekers is growing every day.
To remembering those the world forgot. And lending a hand, putting their heart into the community and their faith into action. I'm Christine Persichetti. We are dedicating this special edition of Currents News to Catholics who live out their faith each and every day, making ordinary tasks blessed with the example of Jesus Christ. We begin with a Catholic church in Corona, which has become a godsend for the homeless in Queens. The Father Felix Varela Food Pantry and Soup Kitchen feeds hundreds of people in need every month. And as Katie Vasquez tells us, they now have the support of a major organization, thanks to some Currents News reporting.
The line to the Father Felix Varela Food Pantry and Soup Kitchen in Corona wraps through the parking lot and down the block. People wait as early as 7 a.m. for the doors to open at 3. It's a demand that Our Lady of Sorrows pastor, Father Manuel Rodriguez, says can sometimes be overwhelming.
And the number of asylum seekers is growing every day. So you see more people coming, more people in need of food.
The church opened the food pantry in September of 2023, and quickly it began to feed dozens of people every week at the soup kitchen and every month at the food pantry. But it wasn't enough for the growing lines.
A new center named after the Cuban priest was...
Luckily, this report on Currents News caught the eye of Sister Caroline Tweedy.
Hola.
At St. John's Bread and Life.
We were watching Currents News one night, and we saw this piece that Currents did on, Our Lady of Sorrows, and the fact that they were really reaching out into the community to serve the newly arrived. And we said, this is what we do every day. How can we partner with them?
Bread and Life started supplying more food to the Queen's Pantry, giving enough to feed 300 more people, and enabling the pantry to open their doors for a second day every month.
To me, it was a sign from God. They became aware about the goodness, of this initiative, actually through our wonderful media connection with Currents and the sales.
No, you guys, that's what you're here for. You're doing a great job. We do it together.
Sister Caroline and Father Rodriguez both believe the pantry can have a larger effect on the Corona community.
Our hope is that we can continue to make that grow so that there's less of a reliance on the parish community itself, and the parish then can take their resources and grow the parish.
It helps everyone, because when people are hungry in a community, bad things happen.
And they will keep helping those in need, one bag at a time. In Corona, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
For more information on how to help or donate to the Father Varela Food Pantry at Our Lady of Sorrows, just go to olschurch-corona.org. Pope Francis has asked Catholics all over the world to welcome the stranger. And Catholics in Brooklyn and Queens are committed to doing just that when it comes to the city's newest arrivals, the tens of thousands of migrants. Schools have opened up their classrooms to the youngest newcomers, and one is using technology to make the transition easier.
These are phonological awareness assignments.
This is iReady, a program Our Lady of Grace Catholic Academy in Gravesend uses to determine students' needs, track their progress, and personalize their learning. For Dolce Maria, who last year started 5th grade in a new country, she uses 2 languages on the program, helping her catch up to her classmates.
I'm trying my best because I know they're trying to help me, so I try to pay attention, especially to any feedback they give me.
Dolce came to New York with her father from Colombia, crossing the southern border on foot. At the time, Dolce read at a kindergarten level in English, but her teachers say she excels in math. For some in the Diocese of Brooklyn, they help because they understand what it's like to go without. That's what motivates Jerry Cassone, who for the last 30 years has run Immaculate Heart of Mary's food pantry. She packs, delivers, and dishes out kindness to hundreds every year. And as Currents News' Jessica Easthope reports, feeding others is what fuels her mission.
Jerry Cassone heads out of Mass at Immaculate Heart of Mary Church in Windsor Terrace and across the street.
Top of the morning.
To give communion to a homebound parishioner.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, Body of Christ, Light of God, surround you.
It's her first stop of many. And then she's off, back to church, to pack and pack some more. As the director of the church's food pantry, she makes deliveries to those who can't pick up their bags.
Emma.
Hey, honey bunch, we're here with your food.
How long have you been coming to the food pantry?
From the first day.
Really? I've been doing it 29 years.
In the bags are essentials.
Rice, pasta, beans, fruit, corn, ham.
But Jerry knows better than anyone what these people need goes beyond food.
Feels like a lifetime ago.
She used to be one of them.
My mother and father had 8 children, really struggling. The doorbell rang, and it was a complete Thanksgiving dinner, turkey and all. The relief on my mother's face was the first time I really understood kindness.
Today, the food pantry feeds hundreds every year. Jerry operates it the same way it was all those years ago, treating everyone she serves with dignity.
They've had struggles throughout their life. So if I can just show someone a little love during the day, I'm going to do it.
Her life has come full circle, and what's remained at its core is her deep faith.
I live by the motto, the greatest exercise for the human heart is to reach down and lift someone up. That's what we are all here for.
8 years ago, when Jerry's kidneys failed, her son gave her a second chance.
He said to me, Ma, you gave me life, I'm going to give you life. And I've been able to do 8 additional years of service.
She's continued to see her life as a gift, one she never hesitates to share with others.
I know that God has a purpose. There's a reason I'm here.
So Jerry keeps packing. Someone else takes care of the rest.
God is good.
In Windsor Terrace, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
While these Catholics have been opening up their kitchens to feed those in need, an order of nuns on Long Island have opened up their home. They offer a program which includes a rent-free apartment for at least a year to refugees, like this family who escaped the war in Ukraine. They don't receive government aid, and housing families like this one costs about $8,000 a month. But they're opening their arms to as many as they can, which is inspiring the people they help to pay that generosity forward.
When I will leave this place, I want to help other people like the sisters helped us.
And the program has proved to be quite the help, since many refugee resettlement programs are 3 months. The nuns say their program is in high demand. That's due in part to the hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian people who fled their homes when Russia invaded and had nowhere to go. That includes Stanislav Holyatyuk, who spent his first 2 weeks in the United States living in a tent under the boardwalk in Coney Island, all because he doesn't know his sponsor, a person he found on Facebook. The director of Catholic Charities of New York's Ukrainian Response Program says he's not alone.
They don't know anyone. They try to find out where to find the place and to live and to help to have some like financial support. And we will try to help all of them like this.
She says most of the Ukrainians her office helps have either never met their sponsor or were left stranded when the financial burden became too much. Still, her office is always open to them. Catholics, of course, don't only help their fellow man, they are caring for God's creation. The Sisters of St. Joseph stepped in to help a community out in the Hamptons who says after an increase in development, there was an increase in pollution. And that's messing with some sacred waters in the Shinnecock Reservation. Currents News' Katie Vasquez has more from Shinnecock Bay.
For thousands of years, these waters have been viewed as a sacred space by the Shinnecock Indian Nation.
We are attached to seaweed.
We were born into it. Our culture is from seaweed surrounded by water.
But thanks to some heavy development in the Hamptons community, the clear waters of Shinnecock Bay have turned murky.
A place that's one of the wealthiest places in the entire world that has no sewer infrastructure. It's really actually a disgusting and filthy situation. The water's not safe.
It's brittle. It's thinner.
It didn't take a science degree for locals like Rebecca Genia to realize that trouble has been brewing in these waters.
We have seen it going downhill. What my great-grandchildren see when they're out in the bay is way different than when we were kids.
So a group of Shinnecock women decided to team up, creating a kelp farming collective in 2019. The hope to tackle the rising nitrogen levels in the water.
Peppers are just beginning to come along.
They enlisted the Sisters of St. Joseph, who live right across the bay, and established a winter hatchery on the Nuns' 7-acre property. The sea plant pulls nitrogen out of the water while also creating a thriving habitat for shellfish. The sisters say it is all part of their mission.
We are one with the earth, and we give to the earth and we take to the earth, and knowing that we never want to take anything more than what we need.
The work has only been going on for a few years, but they have seen the impact.
It's the fish and the plant life. You can see an increase. They're drawn to right here, which before they weren't.
The farmers and the sisters say they are determined to help because they know the consequences of just standing by.
Affects us all. You, me, us, every single person, every single living creature on this earth.
Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
There's a lot more news headed your way. Her time on Earth wasn't long, but some say she's made a saintly impact. We explain why Kaitlyn Bernhardt isn't your average teen. For years, his grave went unmarked, but 8 decades later, the actions of this man who stood up to the mob are being remembered. Doctors said she should have aborted her baby because of a medical condition, yet she fought for life, and her daughter is thriving. Their story coming up. A Brooklyn girl who relied on her faith while fighting terminal cancer wasn't your average teen. That's what Kaitlyn Bernhardt's parents will tell you. They say her kindness and bravery are just 2 of her characteristics that are making people believe she could be a saint. Her time on Earth wasn't long, but while she was here, she put her faith into action and inspired others. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has the story from Mill Basin.
This is the last post on our Instagram. She made it for my birthday.
Ella Bernhardt just celebrated her 18th birthday.
And take care of Robert, Mommy, and Daddy.
For the last 5 years, the day has been bittersweet.
Happy birthday, dear.
Just hours after her 13th birthday was over,
happy birthday to you.
Her older sister, Kaitlyn, was gone.
I still feel her around me, that she's here with us, and that just helped me to go to church, want to go to church even more and talk to God while also talking to Kaitlyn.
Kaitlyn was 15 when she died of cancer. What started as osteosarcoma became aggressive and spread. Kaitlyn's mom, Jennifer, says her daughter fought it with faith.
She didn't complain. She put on a face of bravery. She did continue her devotion to Mary. She spoke of heaven.
5 years without Kaitlyn means she's now eligible to begin the process of becoming a saint, an effort that's being spearheaded by people she touched in her lifetime and others she never met. Through prayer chants, a community of Christians thousands of miles away in India have built a school and grotto in her honor. They pray to Kaitlyn every day. She also has an unofficial miracle attributed to her by a family in New Orleans.
Olivia.
Back in Brooklyn, her family says she's already a saint. Kaitlyn's brother Robert can see why people call her holy.
It doesn't surprise me that she's still been able to answer prayers and been able to help people in ways that she was when she was on Earth.
Every year, Kaitlyn's dad, Rob, plants a sunflower garden for her. He says she sends him signs all the time, reminders that though she's not here, her spirit still is.
To me, it's like I go into my garden and she'll visit me. I know she's still there. She's always around.
On the 5th anniversary of her passing, the street outside her home parish of St. Bernard's in Mill Basin was conamed Kaitlyn Bernhardt Way. Those backing Kaitlyn's cause for sainthood are awaiting the next official step, having her recognized as a servant of God by the Vatican. Jennifer says getting her name out there is the first part.
As long as we share signs, share miracles, it will happen. Maybe not in my lifetime, but it will.
And that one of Kaitlyn's official miracles could come to anyone. All you need to do is pray. In Mill Basin, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Kaitlyn's family is right. It's a process that could take years. There are several steps to sainthood. The first, servant of God, starts at the diocesan level. A bishop is petitioned to look into a person's life, and if they find enough evidence, they'll send a formal request to the Vatican. If they're approved, the person is then a servant of God. After that, the person could become venerable, but first, their cause and all of the evidence has to be reviewed and recognized by the Pope. Then, and here's the hard part, becoming blessed. The church has to approve a miracle attributed to the candidate's intercession. Those pushing for Kaitlyn's sainthood actually say they have a few that could help her cause. If they're recognized by the Vatican, Kaitlyn will be beatified and given the title of blessed. And finally, to be canonized a saint, yet another miracle has to occur, but this one after the beatification. Now to another Brooklynite, a longshoreman who stood up to the mob. Unfortunately, that fight sent him to the grave. Now, nearly a century later, Pete Panto's final resting place finally says his name. Currents News' Katie Vasquez has the story.
One by one, people left red carnations at the new headstone of Pietro Pete Panto at St. Charles and Resurrection Cemeteries on Long Island.
We're here to commemorate.
The grave, now piled with carnations, was once unmarked until Dr. Joseph Sciorra of the Calandra Institute at Queens College stepped in.
There was no tombstone, and I was just sort of shocked.
Panto worked as a longshoreman in the late 1930s, loading and unloading ships on the docks stretching from the Brooklyn Navy Yard to Red Hook. At the time, their labor union, the International Longshoremen's Association, was controlled by organized crime. Panto denounced that corruption, rallying thousands of workers. But his activism came at a price.
Murdered by the mob. Here is a man who fought against a corrupt union that was not looking out for the workers.
The Italian-American went missing in 1939. When his body was found 2 years later, Panto's family couldn't afford a funeral, so Scotto Funeral Home stepped in to cover expenses. Deacon John Heyer, who runs the home now, said he learned about that day that Panto's body was found through family members.
You would see the words Dove Panto, or where is Panto? And so eventually when he was found, which was about 2 or 3 years after he initially went missing, it was kind of a sigh of relief.
After discovering his grave nearly 8 decades later, Dr. Sciorra set out to honor the activist by raising money for a headstone through a GoFundMe. Donations poured in from as far as Tacoma, Washington.
People saying, my grandfather, he was a Swedish immigrant, but he worked on the docks, and this is for all the working people.
Now, with the new grave marker, his legacy can continue with the hope that future generations will remember him.
Unfortunately, he paid with his life for that truth, just as we relate to Christ, dying for the truth. And so Pete did that for that community, and these are the stories that I think as Italian Americans we need to continue to be able to tell.
In Farmingdale, Katie Vasquez, Currents News.
Still to come on this Currents News special edition, the stories of 2 moms who fought for their children's lives.
Smile. Say, look at God.
The little model who the world wouldn't know if his mom took her doctor's advice. And this mother says she was badgered with calls to set up an abortion appointment, why termination was never on the table.
Smile. Say, look at God. Say, look at
He's a model and a role model. 6-year-old Noah Jacob has become the face of a movement inspiring inclusivity through his modeling career. But if Noah's mom listened to her doctors who encouraged her to terminate her pregnancy because Noah had Down syndrome, the world wouldn't know him. She says they gave her little hope and even fewer options.
The baby might be a vegetable, might not walk. Didn't give me any pamphlets on Down syndrome. Didn't give me any, organizations that I could reach out to. Just, here's some clinics where you can terminate.
But Yami found strength in her faith and leaned into what God wanted from her, to bring her baby into the world. And now Noah is a role model for compassion, change, and what it means to choose life. A Long Island woman also chose life despite pushback from her doctor. When Christine Darby was pregnant with her daughter Gemma, she had to fight to let her child live. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has her story.
I'm sorry.
My leg. 3-year-old Gemma Didone writhes in pain while getting her diaper changed. Both of her femurs are broken.
Careful.
In nearly 4 short years of life, Gemma's become no stranger to broken bones. She's had more than 30 hairline fractures. Osteogenesis imperfecta causes her to have a collagen deficiency. Her bones are very brittle.
Every single day takes her so much more effort than just a typical child. She needs to take breaks. She needs to lay back because her lung capacity is smaller than a regular child.
Want to have orange cheese?
I don't have the orange, the cheddar. It's called cheddar.
Gemma's mom, Christine, knew life having a child with OI wouldn't be easy. Yet life without Gemma would be much harder.
She was a part of me, and I just felt that she deserved a chance. She's gonna be someone in the world, and I'm happy I gave her that chance.
It was at the 13-week mark when Christine's doctors noticed some bowing in Gemma's legs. They immediately suggested she terminate her pregnancy. Gemma's condition and the pressure to abort only got worse from there.
At 7:30, every Monday, the OB would call and say, "You sure you don't want to? Are you sure?" They told me at one point, why have a baby shower? Like, what was I gonna even do with all the stuff?
The trauma really started there, Yeah, it's not a great way to start your week, on a Monday morning at 7 a.m., hysterical crying. Yeah, it was hard.
But abortion was never on the table for Christine and Pete. Gemma's cognitive ability is unaffected. She knew what she had to do as a Catholic and as Gemma's mom, and she hasn't looked back, even on the darkest of days.
She was mine, and I was meant to be her mom.
Today, Gemma is thriving. She goes to school, has friends, and dreams of growing up to teach doctors about the amazing potential babies with OI have. The potential every baby has.
I'm so proud of her, how far she's come. Just in the last 2 years, it's been to the moon with her improvements.
The next hurdle is saving up for an accessible home and car to accommodate a power chair.
Should we build a house together?
Yeah.
Gemma's life will never be without challenges.
Should we make a ramp for the front? So you
But
can get
Christine
your
says the best part is she's here to conquer them. On Long Island, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
If you'd like to help Gemma get a wheelchair accessible home and car, you can donate to her GoFundMe page. Just go to GoFundMe.com and search for Gemma's Life with OI. And that is Currents News. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. And we hope we inspired you to put your faith into action. Hope to see you again next time.